All right, let's just dive right in because what we're talking about today isn't just some new tech. It's a look at a potential blueprint for a new ground layer for civilization itself. The whole idea is that we are building the world of tomorrow on top of yesterday's foundations, and you know what? Those foundations are starting to show some serious cracks.
And that brings us to the big question, doesn't it? This is the one that should keep us all up at night. We are on the verge of unleashing these incredible tools. I'm talking artificial general intelligence, quantum computing, but what if these tools don't solve our biggest problems? What if they just take our worst failures and amplify them, make them faster, bigger, and maybe even irreversible?
Just think about it for a second. We like to imagine AGI as the super smart problem solver. But what will it actually do? It's going to execute the instructions we give it. And our instructions, our laws, our corporate policies, our international treaties, they're full of loopholes. They're fundamentally broken. AGI won't magically fix them. It will just follow them perfectly, scaling up every single flaw to a planetary level. And it doesn't stop there. The threat of quantum computing isn't just about breaking encryption, though that's scary enough. It's a threat to the very idea of trust that our entire global system is built on. Our finance, our supply chains, it could all be shattered. These fragile digital handshakes that hold our world together could just disappear. So this is the core of the problem, this incredible mismatch. We've got these almost godlike technologies coming online, but we're trying to manage them with tools from a different era. Paper contracts, vague regulations buried in 300-page PDFs. Seriously, it's like trying to steer a SpaceX rocket with the reins of a horse and buggy. It's just not going to work. So what's the actual cost of all this? I mean, it's not just a philosophical problem. It's a real quantifiable crisis. And it has a price tag that is just staggering. We are all paying a kind of hidden tax because of what this manifesto calls our coordination crisis. Get this, $7 trillion every single year. That's the estimated cost of our leaky, outdated tools. This is all the value that just evaporates because of mistrust, miscommunication, and all the friction built into our systems. It's a tax on literally everything we try to accomplish together. And this chart, wow, it just lays it bare. For every bit of value we think we're creating when we make a deal or a contract, a mind-blowing 94% of it just leaks out of the system. We're operating at 6% efficiency. This isn't a small drip. It's a gaping hole in the hull of the global economy. And this quote right here, it brings the whole terrifying point home. It says, when AGI optimizes for quarterly profits against a climate mandate defined in a 300-page PDF, it will legally and perfectly orchestrate the externalization of our extinction. Whew. In other words, an AGI told to maximize profit while following some vague, fuzzy rules will find every single loophole and perfectly, legally engineer our own downfall. Okay, so if the problem is this deep, the solution can't be just another app. It has to be a whole new way of thinking about innovation itself. We have to move past this idea of constant disruption and embrace a new paradigm, the paradigm of completion. Let's break this down because it's a huge shift. For decades, the mantra has been disrupt, tear down the old way of doing things. It's creative destruction. But the hidden cost is that we lose all the wisdom, all the knowledge that was built into those old systems. Completion is different. It's about evolving what's already there. It's harmonious. It works with that deep, embedded wisdom, what the source calls ontological intelligence. So what in the world is ontological intelligence? Well, it's not data you can just put in a spreadsheet. It's the lived, baked-in knowledge of how things really work. You know, think about a company like UPS. It's not just a bunch of trucks. It's generations of know-how about logistics, about relationships, about navigating the real world. When you disrupt that, you don't just lose a company, you lose that whole library of wisdom. Okay, so completion sounds good, right? But how do you actually build it? This isn't just a philosophy, it's an architecture. The solution being proposed is a new kind of digital foundation, a planetary proof space that's designed to make this all possible. And at the heart of this whole thing is a 4-part model. You can think of them like 4 pillars holding up this new structure. You've got the PCC, which is the mapping engine, the social helix, which is the rule setter, the RE, which is the execution engine, and the PC, which is maybe the most revolutionary part. Let's dig into a couple of these. So first up, you have the prosperity co-creation, or PCC. Think of this as the system's scout. Its job is to go out into our messy, complex world and just map it all out. It finds that ontological intelligence we were talking about, the value that's trapped in broken agreements and inefficient systems. It's the intelligence gathering layer. Next up, the regenerative entity, or RE. Now this is where the rubber meets the road. This is the engine room. It takes those leaky, old-school contracts and turns them into living, breathing, smart agreements between multiple parties. And, this is so important, they have things like planetary and community health baked right in. You literally can't ignore the side effects anymore. But of all these pieces, there is one small but incredibly powerful shift in perspective that really changes the entire game. It's a move away from seeing the world as just data, and instead seeing it as a collection of agents. So here's how it works. Right now, our economic system treats almost everything, a person, a community, a forest, as a data point, something to be measured, extracted, and used as a resource. This new model flips that on its head. It stops seeing data points and starts seeing pattern agents. These agents are sovereign, they're participants, and most importantly, they become equity holders in the system. And that fourth pillar, the pattern contributor entity, or PCE, is how this becomes real. It's the doorway that allows these once external factors to come inside and have a voice. So a worker is no longer just a cost on a balance sheet, they are a behavioral pattern agent who holds equity. A community isn't just a demographic to market to, it's a cultural pattern agent earning dividends. Even an ecosystem can become a health pattern agent with its own funding for restoration. It's incredible. So as you can see, this isn't just a technical paper, it's really an invitation. It's a call to action for anyone and everyone who sees the deep flaws in how things work today and actually wants to build something better, something that heals instead of breaks. If you're running a big, established company, the message here isn't you're doomed. It's here's a lifeline. Instead of waiting around to be disrupted, you can evolve. You can take all that incredible knowledge you've built up over decades and make it the foundation for this new regenerative economy. And for all the innovators, the builders, the entrepreneurs out there, the invitation is to think bigger than just disruption. The real moonshot isn't about breaking things anymore, it's about fixing them. The biggest opportunities are in finding that trapped value and building the tools that complete the circuit and make the whole system stronger. And finally, for leaders of nations, of indigenous tribes, of local regions, this is a pathway to real sovereignty. It's a way to make sure that your community's unique culture and wisdom aren't just things to be bulldozed, but are treated as verifiable, valuable inputs to the entire global system. And it all comes down to this powerful final thought. The storms, AI, quantum, climate change, they aren't just on the horizon anymore. They're here. The ground we're standing on is getting washed away. So the real question for all of us is, are we ready to start building the new ground? The one that can actually hold us, the one that heals and connects, and lets us all thrive?